You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name's Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, quit that job, that just over broke job by investing in real estate. And in today's show, super pumped to share with you this amazing tax loophole that can make you almost $50,000 and how you can do it with your own property you already own. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
What's up? What's up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. Now, I am so pumped. Right now, we are putting in 10 offers a day for rental properties in Alabama. Let me say that one more time. We're not putting in 10 offers a month. We're not even putting in 10 offers a week. We're putting in 10 offers a day. Now, recently, at my most recent Inner Circle event, where it's a 2-day intensive with the people that are active investors that are part of my Inner Circle, they get coaching from me and guests, expert speakers, investors that come in. Well, one of the big topics that really came about was, first, there's two parts to it. Number one, the students were saying, hey, Dustin, it's hard to find deals right now. You know, prices are high, interest rates are high, it's hard to find deals. And then my question is, how many offers are you putting in? And I say, how many offers are you putting in? They usually say, well, I've put in the last 2-3 weeks, I put in like 2 offers. I'm like, that's not going to cut it. So that's the first thing, is they're wondering, how do we get deals? How do you get deals in this market? Or honestly, in any and every market, it comes down to how many offers you're putting in. Now, the second part to that, a deal is only a deal when you get under contract and you've negotiated and you've put in many offers. That's why I'm putting in 10 offers a day in order to buy 40 properties. That's right. I am personally buying 20 properties here in the next 12 months. Plus, I have 2 other students, they're a part of the Inner Circle as well. And if you wanted to apply, it's an application process to become a part of my Inner Circle. Go to masterpassiveincome.com/mastermind, all one word. Link will be in the description, but it's an application process. But 2 of my students, they're like, Dustin, we just don't have time individually. They're saying this to me individually. We're like, Dustin, I have more money than time. My job, I want to get out of it, but I'm so busy, but I make a lot of money. Can I just have you do all the work? You know, you've already built the business. You already know how to do all this sort of stuff. Can we just have you do it? And I said, okay, well, let me see if I could do it. And it's working out so well. They are part of my portfolio builder program that I have for my students. They're getting 20 properties in 12 months. And how we're doing that, and on top of that, how we're getting deals is because we're putting in so many offers. And when you put in more offers, we're putting in 10 a day, you will get lots of no's, lots of realtors saying, hey, this is not a serious offer. In fact, we did get a realtor really reply. It said, hey, this is not a serious offer, but I'll still put it in because, you know, they're supposed to. They have to put in the offer. Well, in the end, we're putting in offers. I have 3 properties under contract, and we just started, I want to say middle of last week. So we put in 40 offers, which is most students, they put in 1 offer every 2 weeks. When you don't get deals, like you won't find a deal on the MLS. You won't find a deal just by somebody coming to you. You have to turn properties that are on the MLS or that somebody's bringing to you into a deal. Now, when it was 2012, there were deals all over the place. You could just trip and find an amazing deal. Well, now you have to create your own deal. And that's by putting in offers lower. We negotiate, something we coach at Master Passive Income. And so we've got 3 properties in. Well, here's the great thing. We've only been putting in offers for like 4 days, 40 offers out there. We got 3 properties under contract. And these are amazing deals. We captured 20% equity in each one of these properties, and we're cash flowing over $450. Some, like one of them is $530 in cash flow, and we've captured like 25% equity. Because we're putting in lots of offers. And so the reason why I'm telling you all this is because deals are out there that you should be putting in lots of offers. And that's what we coach our students to do, how to put in 10 offers a day. And there's so many questions probably going through your head, but we cover all that sort of stuff. But when you put in 10 offers a day, deals come your way. Now, when you're scaling your business, you want to also capture as much money as you can in cash flow. But then you also look to, what other properties do I own that I could even make even more money on? And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, is this amazing rule, this loophole, tax code, everything. It's called the Augusta rule. Now, last week talked a lot about the tax benefits of being a real estate professional, which is amazing. Go back and listen to the episode. And you might be also thinking, well, Dustin, I didn't even have one property yet. Well, this episode's for you. If you have a home to live in, and if you have the ability to rent it out. And you might be thinking, well, Dustin, I don't know if this episode's for me. Trust me, you need to be learning everything about taxes as well as asset protection before you have any properties, because you want to be ready and have everything done right the first time, as opposed to having to do it all over again, which is what I've done many times. Because the first time in 2006, when I was buying properties, I had no clue what I was doing. I had it in my own personal name, which we don't do that anymore. I've even started a C corporation, where it's like, why did I start a C corporation? I just thought I had to do that. I did so many things wrong, and I did not know how to protect my assets as well as keep my money away from Uncle Sam. And if you're learning all this stuff now, because you might be thinking, I'm just going to turn this off, I'm not there. Trust me, you don't want to do that, because as you buy properties, then as you put in 10 offers a day and you start scaling your business, you realize that it now is imperative that you protect your assets. It's imperative that you protect your money from Uncle Sam legally. Now, let's jump into the Augusta rule. When I first heard this, I was like, there's no way. This is ridiculous that this rule exists. Let me first tell you what the Augusta rule is and why it's here, and then we'll dive all into how you can utilize it. It's absolutely amazing. So the basic premise is, there is a golf tournament called the Masters Golf Tournament. I love watching the Masters. It's so much fun watching the Masters, but it's in Augusta, Georgia. And it's amazing that places that are around Augusta, Georgia, for Airbnb or whatever, like just places for rent, hotels are completely sold out. This is the premier event for golf. And think about who plays golf: people with a lot of money. And so people with a lot of money, they're going to go watch this Masters tournament. And it's a lottery to be able to go and get a pass to go to the Masters tournament. It's like hundreds of thousands of people apply, and not very many get it. And so it's so exclusive. And this is the top event for golfers, or professional golfers like you and I. We could never play there. You have to win, 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 win. This is like the number one. But the amazing thing is the Augusta rule, they put it on the tax code that you could rent out your home for 14 days tax free. Now, there's a lot of stipulations, but I'll walk you through all of that. But there's no taxes. If you rent your home, you rent it out for 14 days, that's $1,400. You are not taxed on it. But let's say you're renting it for $1,000 a day. You make $14,000, and then that's $14,000 you don't pay any taxes on. Well, in Augusta, people are renting it out for $10,000 a day. And no joke, like big, large places like Tiger Woods, and they're going to be paying for $10,000 a day. But let's say you were renting it for $2,000 a day. It's $28,000. Or $4,000. What is that? That's $54,000 that you're making, but you pay no money in taxes. That's the big thing. You could rent out your home and pay no money in taxes. And you might be thinking, well, Dustin, why is this rule even here? Well, just remember, rich people go to golf tournaments. Rich people have homes around Augusta, Georgia that they want to be able to rent it out as well as not pay any money taxes. And rich people make the tax codes. They become politicians. They do the tax code. So they made the tax code and called it the Augusta rule for themselves, which anybody can use it. You don't have to be in Augusta, Georgia. It's anywhere in America. You could be in Alaska and still use this Augusta rule where you rent your house out for 14 days completely tax free. This is a loophole that most people are not using, but you absolutely should. Now, when you realize that you own a home, it's sitting empty some days, the IRS will pay you to rent it out to somebody else, meaning you don't have to pay taxes. Now, most homeowners think that their primary residence is personal property. You live there, which is true, and you deduct the mortgage interest, which is true. You deduct property taxes, that's true, but that's not it. The IRS has that special rule for rental income for your primary residence. It can't be an investment property. It has to be your primary residence, and you pay no taxes, not to the IRS. And if you rent it for 14 days or fewer per year, you don't even have to report the income as taxable revenue. You just get that in your pocket. You don't even tell the IRS that you made that money. And the rent goes straight into your pocket. The government doesn't even get a dime, which is just amazing. I love that we have this rule and you should be utilizing it. This is originally designed for people in Augusta, Georgia that rent it for $10,000 or $20,000 a night during the peak tournament week. Well, it only lasts 7 days, but people come before and after, but you have 14 days. Now, this is the rule. It's IRS section 280A, comma D, comma 2. Like that, you know what? Don't even look that up. I'm just going to tell you that's what it is. So IRS section 280A, just look up the Augusta rule. I mean, I know AI will be able to walk you through it, but the whole thing is if you rent your primary residence for 14 days or fewer, the rental income is not taxable and you do not have to even report it. That's amazing. Now, you might be thinking, well, Dustin, there has to be stipulations, 100%. And I want to pause for a quick second and share that honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. Now, my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin and Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate because the more that actual normal everyday people own real estate, the better everybody's life gets. Absolutely. There are stipulations or things that you have to follow. The IRS doesn't give you carte blanche, which means to do whatever you want. So here's the catch. You have to get 3 independent market rate appraisals, providing that that's the market rates you actually would pay to rent out your place. You can't just rent out your home for $300,000 at $50,000 a night just because you feel like it. You can't do that. You have to actually be able to prove to the IRS that it's worth that, especially when you think about like the Augusta or, let's say the Super Bowl is coming into town and you're going to rent it for, $3,000 a day. You need to be able to do that. Now, let me give you a couple of scenarios. So let's say the golf tournament. If you're, another one in Phoenix, there's something called the Waste Management Open it's in like February, I think. And it's another tournament, another golf tournament. Well, places around there, they get rented out. People fly in just for this tournament. I used to live in Phoenix, so I saw how crazy it gets. Well, you can rent out your property. Let's say you're renting it out for 7 days at $8,000 a day. That's $56,000 tax-free, and you do not even have to put it on your taxes. And if your mortgage payment is $3,500, well, your entire year, you've made all that money to pay off your entire mortgage. This is amazing. If you think about, if you bought a property in a good area that you could rent it out for 14 days, and if your entire mortgage for the entire year is, let's say, $36,000, let's just do the quick math, $3,000 a month for your mortgage, and then it is 12 months, that's $36,000. Well, if you can make that in 14 days, then your entire mortgage for the entire year is paid off, and you just go get a little vacation. You maybe go stay at your in-laws' house or something, and you rent out your house. Now, Another great thing. So it's like if there's an event that's going on anywhere, you can look at that. Football games, all that sort of stuff. It's 14 days or fewer. Now, wedding season. In wedding season, like Nashville, where I live, Nashville is like the premier area for either not necessarily weddings, but definitely bridesmaids. They love coming to Nashville. And so you could rent out your place. You could rent it out for 14 days or fewer, even if you just do one or single days, a single, like a Friday night and a Saturday night, and they leave on Sunday. That's 2 days. You do that 7 times over the entire year. You make a ton of money, and you put, let's say, $70,000 tax free in your pocket. You don't even tell your IRS. Or if there's conferences, like think about in your area, what could be going on that you could rent out your home for. Now, another thing, if you're a real estate investor, be thinking about this. If you want to live in a good area, find a good area that has, like, let's say you wanted to move to a different state. Well, if you want to move to that state, figure out what event that could be, you could charge for that amount. Think of big colleges, like Notre Dame's a big college that people want to travel. Maybe you're living and you live somewhere near Notre Dame and you rent out your house. The possibilities are unlimited when you think about how you can rent out your day. Now, I'm going to give you a critical thing that you can do. Well, let me give you some compliance rules, but I'm going to give you one huge, amazing tip that you can also do if you're a real estate investor and you have a business, which I'll give you in a second. But let me tell you some critical rules. So rule number one, 14-day limit. It cannot be 15 days. It becomes taxable. So you want to only go 14 days. Rule number two, personal use. You must use your home as a primary residence for at least part of the year. It can't be purely a vacation rental home. You have to actually live there. Rule number three, fair market rent. The rental rate must be defensible as a fair market value, which you should get appraisals. You should and must document everything. In case the IRS came to you, you could say, here's all my documentation. Rental intent. Now that's number four, rental intent. You must have documented intent to rent. That's email threads, rental listings, marketing materials, all that sort of stuff. Again, you just got to prove it to the IRS that you're actually doing that. Rule number five, no deductions for rentals at all. So here, that's the trade-off. You cannot deduct expenses for the rental at all because you're not reporting that income. You cannot have that rental expenses be deducted because you're not even reporting it. So if you rented the property for 7 days and it costs you $2,000 to operate that from mortgage, taxes, insurance, all that stuff, you can't or cannot deduct $14,000. That makes sense. Like you just cannot deduct everything because you're not showing your income. Now, rule number six is reporting. Despite the tax-free status, some tax professionals recommend reporting at the income. They putting on your Schedule C or your Schedule E. That's, talk to your accountant. Well, hold on. I should have said this from the very beginning. I should have said this. I'm not an accountant. I'm just telling you what I've been taught, what I've learned from my accountant. You need to do exactly what your accountant tells. If they tell you, do not even use the Augusta rule because you're going to get audited, then don't use it. Do what your accountant tells you. I'm just telling you that this is done all the time by other people, but you do what's best for you. Now, rule number six, like I said, reporting. Now, despite the tax-free status, some tax professionals actually recommend reporting it, like I was saying, on Schedule C, maybe your Schedule E, and your rental income under the IRC 2080A, which don't write that down. Talk to your accountant. They'll take care of that. But this creates a paper trail so you show that you understand the rules and you can defend yourself against the IRS if and when they come to you. Because just assume the government's going to say, "Hey, we want our money." Just assume that, and so you want to be as protected as possible. Now, golf markets, and I know in Phoenix in general, there are so many golf courses that are amazing, and people fly in all the time to play golf. That could be a great market if you want to buy a house and live in that area. Let's say you want to retire and move to Phoenix, and find a good place in Scottsdale that's by a really good course. Buy that house, live in there, and then you rent it out. Wouldn't that be amazing? Also, find other great wedding markets, like people that want to go destination. It could be like Napa Valley, Martha's Vineyard, Charleston, Sedona, Nashville. Like, think of these areas as a great way where you could rent it out at $3,000 a night, potentially. Obviously do all your due diligence to make sure you're doing it right. Also, tourism. like any great areas. Let's say you live next to Disney in Orlando. Well, let's say you want to rent it out in peak, non-school operating hours, summertime or whatever, when people are just clamoring to come to Disney World. Well, rent out your place for 14 days and get your entire mortgage paid for. I mean, you might be thinking of, I'm going to move to this location. Let me think of how to also apply this Augusta rule. I'm actually now that I'm actually creating this episode, I'm like, oh my goodness, why don't I do this? This is going to be absolutely amazing. And now let me give you this little thing that I've heard. I've never done this, but this is something you can do, or that I've heard from my accountant and other accountants and other people that you can do. Now, you have to defend it. You have to talk to your accountant. I'm going to tell you that this is something that people do. I've personally never done it. You just got to keep this in mind. Now, let's say you own a company. You own a secondary company. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, whoa, Dustin, this is kind of crazy. Yes, it is crazy. Talk to your accountant. And if you're on Spotify, I get people, and I appreciate all the comments. I got one comment recently helping me to remember, or to, like, maybe I stated it improperly, that your passive income and your active income are taxed at the same rate. It was the capital gains that was taxed at a different rate, all that sort of say. But I love it. I appreciate all the comments on Spotify if you're listening to us on Spotify. And so what actually happens is people, they have their own LLC, and I've heard that this is like completely illegal, but you have your own LLC for your company. Let's say you have this business that does something. Well, you're renting out your own primary residence from your own business because your business needs corporate not retreats. That's not the right way to say it. You need to have a board meeting once a year, an annual board meeting that's making your LLC and your companies legitimate, so that the IRS is, or so that they cannot pierce the corporate veil if and when you get sued. And so you can take a retreat to Hawaii. You can go wherever you want, and that is your board members meeting. And it's paid for by the company. It's literally done all the time. They do this all the time. All companies do it, big companies, small companies. Well, you could use that corporate trip and rent out your own primary residence, get your employees there. And, let's say they're staying in a couple of rooms and you're renting it out to yourself. Now, if you are going to do it where you have your LLC, because I just looked it up, ChatGPT says it sounds good, but I've also heard other people do it. There are 3 critical things that you must do. Number 1, just like with the Augusta rule, it has to be fair market value. That's rental value. Like, you can't just blow it out of proportions. Another one, the stipulation number 2, or critical condition number 2, is the IRS requires an arm's length transaction, meaning you and your LLC negotiate as if you were strangers. That means a written rental agreement, not just a handshake or just say, hey, yes, we did. Clear payment terms, business-like treatment, documents that the LLC needed your specific home for legitimate business purposes. If it looks like you're just funneling money between the two, it's probably not going to go very well with the IRS. So keep that in mind. The other 3 was legitimate business purposes. The LLC must have a genuine business reason for holding your retreat at your home specifically, not just, we own this and we want to use it for tax-free purposes. Let me give you a couple quick examples of what that would look like. Let's say your LLC operates a real estate business and hosts a client appreciation retreat at your home because of location and amenities. Then that could fly. Like, IRS could say, yeah, that works out. Another one, your LLC runs a wedding planning business and needs to show your home as a venue option. That's another one. One other one is your LLC is a consulting firm and wants a specific scenic location, which happens to be at your location. What would not work is you own a tech LLC and you rented your home for an internet meeting when a hotel would serve as the same purpose just to get a tax break. So just use your, I guess, common sense. If the IRS would kind of look at you kind of sideways and say, I don't know, you don't want any red flags with the IRS. That's the number one thing. So talk to your accountant, make sure that that accountant he is 100% behind you on everything. So that's, you want to safely do everything, because if you ever did get audited, you do not want to have the IRS or the government looking at you. In fact, I'm the type of person, I want to never be seen by the government. I want the government to, I know they know I exist, but I would love it if they did not even care that I exist and I was never on their radar. Because the government, Ronald Reagan said it best. There's nothing worse than a knock at your front door and you open it up and the person standing there says, we're from the government and we're here to help. That is the worst thing. You do not want the government to know who you are. So play by their rules and you'll be fine. Now, when you're going through this Augusta rule, think of all of these things that how can you best utilize this? And honestly, if you're going to be doing this, just call up your accountant and say, this is what I'm doing. Help me to make sure I don't get audited and I do everything right. So in case I did get audited, I'm going to fly by without having any problems at all. But there are so many more tax loopholes, quote unquote loopholes, that you can utilize. And in next week's episode, I'm going to give you another loophole for short-term rentals that you're going to be, yes, please, let me get at least one short-term rental every single year. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to absolutely love this next tax loophole. And remember, you need to be learning this because you're eventually going to become wealthy. You're eventually going to become financially independent, successfully unemployed because you scale your business, you make more money, you quit your job. Well, then you got to protect it. So learn this now. Trust me. I wish I would have learned all this before I became financially independent. Then once I get financially independent, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm like, shoot, I wish I'd known this before. So, all right, you guys are awesome. I super appreciate you being here every single week, coming back and listening to the podcast. I appreciate you. See you next week. And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching, get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.